Hello and everybody, welcome back. This is episode number 14 of the Amber Army YouTube Football Manager 2017 Newport County Russian Takeover Experiment. And 2nd of February, Newport County are sitting in 15th still. Slight improvement on the way things were going. Still only winning 8 games out of 30 is quite alarming. But getting 13 draws is the saving factor because they've only lost 9. If you look at the teams around them, that's a pretty decent return on losses. So if without the draws, if they convert a few of them draws to wins, they could be looking around this sort of area. But ifs and buts, they don't work in football really, do they? You look at the likes of Sunderland, Burnley, Sheffield Wednesday, below them Cardiff, even further down. Have we played Cardiff yet? So the game against Cardiff is coming up and we will see it after the season has been concluded. But while we're on Newport County, FA Cup third round, beat Brentford, went through the fourth round away at Norwich, so no big draws there. So no real cup run, no big draws, no income with money. Estimated value 29.5, so the Russians have invested more money. Does that mean that the county have spent money in January? That means no, they have not. They've loaned Sam Redman, left back, from Everton, who's a Welsh lad. Haven't sold anybody either. So next season could be an exciting one because there's money in the bank again now. Say the Russians have put the money in. Where are we now? So yeah, we're back up to rich. Mike Newell is still manager, so they're keeping faith in him and they're putting money in and he's going to have it to spend hopefully for next season. Let's have a little look at some Sky Bet Championship stats. Have they at least kept the players up there? So let's go straight down to attacking. Goals. So no is the answer there, if you remember right. It was Mason, but he fell from grace completely. Assists, no. So Newport County, where it was looking like they had the individuals at the beginning of the season when they started just outside the playoffs, it now looks as though that was just a little fantasy. Jed Steer is coming back with a decent return on clean sheets, but they need to invest in some players, don't they, if they want to push up to the other end of the table. The thing is, are the playoffs too far out? I'd say yes. 12 points is going to be a difficult one to pull back because they're only 8 points away from being sucked into relegation. But with 37 points on the 30-game mark, if they manage to get some wins, I can't imagine they're going to get sucked into it. But Cardiff might. Could Newport County beating Cardiff be the thing that stops Newport County from being pulled into the relegation battle and sends Cardiff into the relegation area? I tell you what, we're going to go to the end of the season and we're going to see if that is the case. So guys, I shall see you then. Okay then, so we're at the end of the season and as you can see, the final of the playoffs went Bristol City's way. Bristol City got themselves into the Premier League. Happy days for them. League table, Newport County, flirted very much with relegation in the end, only winning a further 1 game, drawing another 7, finishing on 50 points, 2 points clear of it. So that was a close one. That one was back to the drawing board in League One. Otherwise, let's have a little look who ended up winning the battle between Newport and Cardiff, and they lost at home to Cardiff. So Cardiff have got the upper hand on County, but we will be in the same division as them next season. Now, we've got a national reputation, we need to boost that. Facilities, as we know, impressive training, great youth, adequate corporate facilities, perfect pitch condition, as we know. We've got the grass and synthetic mix, also known as the Deso type pitch. Junior coaching and youth recruitment need to improve. The under 18, no, we want to see the players in the under 18 squad, sorry. So there's some prospects maybe. Well, not overly. Usually the value is what tells all with this one. Scott Gray is that left back. They've listed him. Why sign him? You're going to list him. 23 years old, obviously not fitting the bill. And then in that senior squad, Smith and Threlkeld are the only ones who finished the season on average over 7. And goals, Mason ended up getting himself 12. So in the goals department, they improved a little bit. Robert Swaby is 22 years old, defensive forward, improving by the looks of it. Something to look at next season, maybe. Let's have a little look at these fixtures. Obviously, at the second hurdle in the cup competitions, County were falling, and I think the run at the end of the season after that Burnley game where they lost 2-1 away, I think that little run there with the 3 draws and the 2 wins is what stopped them from falling. Because if you look at that, they didn't have a win in the league. Well, they didn't win in the league for the whole of 2023. Does that mean Mike Newell is still the manager? No. Mike Newell is not manager of Newport County anymore. Mike Newell got sacked on the 4th of March, which would have been slap bang in the middle of that horrible run. Robert Kelly was named as caretaker manager for 15 days, and Steve Abbott prevented the county from falling. They said, you go on a bad run, and it doesn't matter what you've achieved for the club, you go on a bad run, and these Russians, they will slice you. Steve Abbott, a number of manager jobs. That's his playing career. So he didn't have what you'd call a great playing career. So he was This is strange. I don't know what to make of this, to be honest with you. He was assistant manager at Scunthorpe United. Now, considering Mike Newell was on 2,200 a week, Steve Abbott is coming as manager and is on £10,750. That's a strange one, eh? What's his tactics? Now, I like these tactics. These tactics I like. Very attacking, very positive, and the kind of tactic that can get you out of the Premier League, get you into the Premier League if you've got the right team. Now, the money's there for this man to spend. The money's definitely there. So let's have a little look there. So he would have taken over after that game. Well, around about then he took over. Didn't start off great, but got those 2 wins, which could prove to be the vital wins that kept County in the Championship. Maybe. Just maybe. Right, so Newport County squad. What's the values looking like? So Jermaine Anderson is worth 4 million. So we've got some players there who are worth a few quid. What they need to do is add a few more players who are worth a few quid. You know, good players who can fit well into that tactic. Because I'm a big fan of this tactic. I'm looking forward to next season with Steve Abbott and that tactic. I'm just so intrigued by this Steve Abbott, because looking at it, he hasn't actually had a manager's job. He is an assistant manager. All I can think of is that the guy must have applied for the job, managed to blag himself an interview, because he looks as though he's been caretaker manager, Gateshead a couple of times, assistant manager, played pretty much in the Welsh League and in the non-league in England. Prestatyn assistant, Gateshead assistant, caretaker manager, assistant at Mansfield. So he's slowly rising in the ranks. Could this be a stroke of genius from our Russians? So Vasily and Mikhail, are you going to do the county right? You've offered a big wage to an unproven manager, but looking at his tactics, definitely a manager that could do something. So let's have a little overview of the Championship then before we call time on this episode. So Sheffield Wednesday, Wigan and Peterborough go down. Bristol City, Brighton and Norwich go up. County stay in the same division as Cardiff. And I wonder. No, I was just wondering if Swansea would be joining us next year. But it's Reading, Leeds and Villa will be joining us next year from the Premier League. So there we go. So I'm not going to bother with the player details. We know that our players were crap this season. Norwich absolutely battered that league, didn't they? 96 points, that's a bloody good return, that is. So can County go one better next season and achieve somewhere in mid-table? Or can they go even better than that? Oh, sorry. This is like about 11:30 at night. You have to forgive me for that one. But yeah, basically, guys, this is it. This is the end of season number 7. Season number 8, they got 3 more seasons. I think within 2 seasons they could do it. If Steve Abbott proves to be a shrewd signing as a manager, and he makes some shrewd signings on the pitch, we could see Newport County in the Premier League. But we got to wait for another season at least. So we'll call time on that one. Thanks all for watching. Appreciate all the great comments I've been getting, and really happy that there's plenty of you enjoying the series. The numbers are going up, which is really pleasing to see. Newport County are going to be a Premier League team in the time that we said. 10 years we said from League 2 to Premier League so far. 7 years, bottom end of the Championship, almost relegated. It's got to improve next season. They've got a new manager, more money. Will they spend it? Will they spend it right? We'll soon see. Thanks again, guys, and as always, it's cheerio for now.